So, don't really do YouTube or new to YouTube. You can call me Kulum, uh, or whatever. Um, but I'm gonna do reviews on builds because that's all I do. I don't do super complex builds because I don't really care. But I'm gonna do tutorials on my, I guess, technique because I've never watched any videos. I taught myself, so maybe it's different from other people. I don't know. But here's a little review since I've been obsessed with staging lately. Two different types of staged fused claptons. Uh, Pretty big size difference, as you can see. But on the mini Buddha, on the full size Buddha. 100 watts, 150. As you can see, the ramp up time is pretty big difference. This one's still heating up. See? Once you get them heated up, they're almost instant ramp up time. This one, no matter how cold the coil is, instant ramp up time. Main advantage of staging. Staging is pretty simple. It's where you take something like a fused clapton like this, and actually I have two right here. You got a single wire, normally slightly smaller than what you're staging it with, and then you have your clapton, or it could be anything. Anything could be staged with anything, but the basic way of doing it is a clapton like this, and then staged with something slightly smaller, but just a single wire. And then you just wrap them in parallel on your screwdriver. I recommend tie. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people do the tie-off method. I'm assuming you just tie the top part, wrap it, and then when you're done, tie this part, and then just put it in your post. But the single wire has less ramp up time, so it heats up first and then heats up the rest of the build.
Right. I am like you. I've always been like you. That's why you found me, isn't it?
But I personally am a fan of small builds, like between point 2 and 0.4. I always run them at 100 watts. They hit real hard. Flavor is always really good. That's my thing, but I'll show you the difference. Take into consideration my room is only 10 by 10, so yeah, I'm probably this takes about 3 hits to fill up my whole room with smoke, so
sperm clusters all over.
it's 150 watts. Once it heats up, it just fires hard. Stage typically you want to. Well, I'm assuming this is all from my experience. I don't know what other people do. Staged, I typically do a tight wick, and then you're loose packing on the cotton, real tight in the middle, loose on the cotton. Allows it to wick better because I mean your staged are long, so I mean wick it like a parallel. It's pretty simple, but this one, flavor is much better on a staged on a smaller RDA. I think I don't know.
You're gonna write down the wireless passcode for us?
But yeah, I guess it's my first YouTube video. Differences. I'm definitely not a. I mean, I have have a temple and a full-size boot are my biggest RDAs. I'm not a big RDA fan. Most of my stuff is like Chaos and Limitless, Avocado.
Which makes you an accessory.
Well, hold on there. I'm their lawyer. You can threaten me.
Love this thing.
They're entitled to representation, and you know that.
I love staged can be really good on a series, but it's got to be real small. I mean like 30-36 or 32-36 fused claptons or single claptons fused with like 28 gauge, maybe even 30 gauge. I mean, you got to use some real small wire and probably 10 wraps to get it to go on a series. I mean, this one has 12 or 13 12 wrap, and it's still coming out like 0.14. So I mean, treat your stage like a parallel. If you make I'm assuming anybody watching this knows when you make claptons, any type of clapton, your outer wire does not affect the resistance, unless wrapping with ribbon. Slightly cuts down on the resistance, very slightly. But if it's just round wire wrapping, single core fused aliens, stitched, staggered, it don't matter. Whatever's in the middle is what determines your resistance. So if you have 28 fused, your math is going to be 28 parallel. And if you're staging it, you got to figure that into your wraps. I'm pretty sure the full version of Steam Engine has the staged math on it. But I mean, I don't use any tools because if I don't get it right, I just build it again. But I'll post a tutorial on my method for fuse and claptons and juggernauts and all that jazz. I'm Kulum.